All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of More Than Muscle. If you haven't seen Ryan and I work out at FitLab AZ, go check that video out. But now we're going to talk a little bit more about who he is beyond the stage and what he fills his time with that is not bodybuilding. So obviously the first time that you meet somebody, you're probably telling them, okay, what do you do for work? I know that you're kind of you do lending for real estate and things like that. So is that specifically to like the Scottsdale area? Just tell us a little bit about that.
It's kind of all over the valley. About 10 years ago, I was a licensed real estate agent. 5 years after that, I decided to get into the finance side of things. So I've been doing mortgages since 2020. And that covers pretty much everything, everywhere, all around the valley, and all sorts of different loan types as well.
What made you want to switch over into the mortgage side of things?
I liked the, it's hard to say, right? Because I think one of the big things is we got to keep in mind when I first got into real estate, I was really young, right? I was 20 years old at the time. I'm 31 now.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay.
Turning 32 this year. And I went in with a little bit of a pipe dream. A lot of people that knew my personality said like, oh, you're absolutely going to crush it, but gave me no practical advice as to what the industry was actually like, and it kind of hit like a bucket of cold water. So many of the things that are actually required to really build a business in real estate were not things that I was ready to do at that time.
What were some of those things?
I'll be wildly uncomfortable, get in front of as many people as possible, screaming from the rooftops that you do real estate. It's one of those things where you got to be in front of people at all times, because unlike a lot of other products or services, ideally you really only need a realtor once every couple years, and for some people once maybe in their lifetime, right? Some people buy one house and that's it. They never move again, and that's it, right? So it makes it that much more important to always be kind of omnipresent, because you really never know when that one little opportunity is going to come up. So until then, you just got to be that person that's in front of everybody all the time.
Yeah, and Phoenix is a very growing area too. Like, I can't imagine. Charlotte is very similar, where we'll always hear the statistics of how many people are moving there on a day-to-day basis. It's something ridiculous. It's like, X amount of 100 people are moving to Charlotte like every 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, this is great for
Where is the
real
influx
estate.
of Charlotte coming in? Like,
most of it comes from the Northeast and the Midwest.
Okay.
So even if you talk to most people that you talk to in Charlotte are not from there originally. They're all transplants. So, and that's myself included, because we're originally from the Chicago area.
Got it.
So we moved down probably 10 years ago, but I know a lot of people that are also from New York. Now, my understanding for Phoenix, it's a lot of people that are from like California or...
A good chunk.
Yeah.
A good chunk. There's also been a heavy influx of people from Chicago, Washington as well.
Sorry, we keep invading your spaces.
You know what? All is good. It's fun to have all sorts of people, right? But seems to be fun to bag on the Californians whenever they're moving over here. But the big gold rush as far as Phoenix kind of already came and went. Depending on who you ask, there's still a lot of opportunity, but Phoenix as well as Austin were some of the two heaviest markets impacted during the whole COVID pandemic boom, right?
Yeah.
So when interest rates came really low, combined with the low housing prices that we had here, people were sweeping up Phoenix properties left and right.
Okay.
And now there's not a lot of starter homes left, or at least they're not available at a starter price. Right. Most of the homes that you're going to be looking at in Phoenix are going to be in the 400s and the 500s. Can you find something in the 3s or 2s? Absolutely. But that's, you might end up with something quite dated. You might end up with something that needs a lot of cosmetic work. And a lot of people have standards that say, no, I don't want this to be my starter home, right? People want a more ready home than maybe they did generations past, where they were okay with getting, hey, I just need 4 walls and a ceiling. I will make the space my own.
Yeah.
Now people want updated appliances, updated fixtures, updated cabinetry. And you just can't get that at the price that they want or at the monthly payments that they want.
Or you have to move like way outside the city, right?
Fact.
Like you gotta commute way far away.
Yeah.
Which is a whole separate challenge. Have you been in the Phoenix area your whole life, or?
No, I'm originally from Mazatlan, Mexico, right?
Okay.
Small town, not tiny, but a smaller town relative to some of the other bigger cities in Mexico. I was born and raised there. I lived there until I was 15, came to Arizona for 2 years during high school, moved back to Mexico, only this time Cabo, and that's where I graduated my senior year of high school, was in Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, okay. So what brought you back to the States after you graduated?
I feel like I always knew that I was going to go to college in the States, right? There was not really a prospect of a school that I really had my eyes on, at least in Mexico. But it's one of those things where I was one of those people that time came kind of quick. right? And I was like, oh shoot, it's time to pick what I'm going to study. I don't know what I want to study. I grew up a big gamer kid. I did a lot of animation, a lot of drawing, so I was like, I'm going to study game design. Right, so I moved to San Francisco, and I went to the Academy of Art University where I was studying game design.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it ended up being fun. I thought I was going to have more of an affinity for the drawing portion of things. I ended up leaning more towards the programming side of things. That was a lot of fun. But after 1 year in that school, which was an amazing year at that, and San Francisco was amazing when I was living there, I kind of realized that I have more of a business mind than I do for art. I'll always have a passion for like that hobby. It's always going to be something that I enjoy. But then when you put me in a position where it's like, this is what I do for a living, it was not fun. It took the fun out of it.
Yeah, the minute that your livelihood becomes dependent on the hobby, it kind of sucks the joy out of it for a lot of people, I find. It's like, if it doesn't have the pressure of, oh, I need to build everything upon this, and I need to make sure that like I pay my rent and like bills, groceries, all that stuff is dependent on this thing. Well, now it has an artificial pressure that it didn't used to have on it before, and you're not necessarily just doing it because you love it, but almost becomes like because you have to.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, right? Like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But in the world of art in general, right? Like, or in the case of game design, you might be either designing or animating something that you're not passionate about at all. And you might also be having to animate it in a way that is not even to your liking. It's not about you anymore. Yeah. Right? Your service is going to be used for the client, however they want to use it, whoever the client might be or your employer. It's not about you anymore. Right? And that, to me, took the fun out of it.
Yeah. So do you still fill your time with things like that at all? You know, because obviously probably a majority of it is consumed by the lending and then bodybuilding. Yeah. Do you still do any type of like artistic game design or anything like that? Do you dabble with the programming at all?
Not as much with the programming. Well, yes and no. So I've been entertaining vibe coding more than anything. I designed a brand new lending website.
What is that?
Vibe coding.
Vibe coding.
Yeah, so essentially using any LLM or the ChatGPTs or the Claudes to program whatever you want. It could be a game. It could be a website. It could be it literally could be a software. Okay. So for myself, I revamped my website, made it from scratch, and it looks absolutely stunning. And I also created a mini CRM that I've actually been using and been building up to the point where I can actually take it to market.
Oh, right? Really? So you used basically like a ChatGPT
in a way,
and prompted it in such a way that it built you like a CRM that you manage for your system? That's cool.
It's unbelievable. What a world. But I mean, it's one of those things that you could have never done before, right? What an amazing time to be alive, to where I just designed a CRM that I had no business creating. And on top of that, it's not just functional, it's beautiful. It looks good. It looks professionally made, right? And this is the AI software doing all of it. It's absolutely amazing. So I would say my knack for the artistic has kind of been more programming still, designing, video editing, right? I'll do several, I have hundreds of videos on real estate, mostly short form content, but that's also been kind of like a creative outlet. So I find that as long as I have some form of creative outlet, I'm that side of me is satisfied.
Okay, so now it kind of sounds like you're getting like a little bit of a crossover between that creative element, but then also if it's related to real estate, it kind of ties into your profession as well. So you're almost like, you're kind of cheating the system a little bit in a way, where you're like, okay, I don't necessarily have all the ropes and the red tape that I had when you were working for the game design, where everybody's kind of telling you what to do. Yeah. So you're doing your own profession, but you also you have the creative flexibility, and you can kind of market it how you want it now. That's what it sounds like.
I think that's how everybody has to tackle this industry as well, right? Because there's in a world where there's so many different real estate agents, loan officers, title reps, insurance, we're all one and the same. We all do largely the same thing. We all might offer slightly different levels of service. We do the same thing. Yeah. Both lenders can get you into the house. It's just about how they get you there. So what you do to set yourself apart is where you bring in any of the other life skills that you've got, right? And for myself, it might be my animating background. It might be my designing background. It might be my programming background. I use all of those in my business to promote myself as an individual LO, to gain more partnerships and to gain the client's attention.
Yeah, okay. So you've been in the real estate game for 10 years now, going on 11?
Yeah.
So did that precede bodybuilding, or was that something that came like beforehand? Was it around the same time? What got you into the sport?
I was never supposed to be a bodybuilder. And I think there was probably even a time where I maybe trash talk the sport a little bit. I was like, who wants to do that? I don't want to do that. It's so
you got these idiots that are getting up there in their underwear. They're dancing for strangers that they don't know.
It was always with nothing but love, but it was always like, yeah, that's not for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. What ended up happening, what actually got me into it was I've been going to the gym for the longest time. I've been going to the gym since I was about 13. Different levels of consistency, but I've always, at least one day out of the week, been in the gym since I was 13. All right, so that's a long time of building. At some point, when I was around 25, 26, I don't know, something like that, I was dating this one girl that had done a show before, right? And we were both huge into the gym, total gym rats. And she's like, I want to do a show. You should do a show with me. I was like,
was it those same crazy wide eyes? Like,
yeah.
You're going,
better believe it. Well, it was like, yeah, she's like, you should do a show with me. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fine, screw it. I'll do a show. Why not? What's kind of funny is we broke up like 2 weeks after that. But at that point, I had already paid for the coach. I had already signed up. Like, had already gone grocery shopping for all this stuff. And I was like, well, I'm doing the show now.
Of course.
Like,
so you broke up 2 weeks after the show?
No, after we agreed to do the show.
My
after
gosh.
we went and talked to the coach, after we got everything set up. And there was a part of me that it crossed my mind. I was like, hey, do I call this off? Do I not do the show? Do I do the show? What am I? I'm just gonna do the show.
That's so funny.
So we both ended up still competing, just separately.
At the same show?
Yeah.
Were you giving each other like the glare across the stage?
It was fine. There was honestly nothing but support, and honestly, we don't stay in touch since. But at least for that particular show, we stayed cordial. It was nothing but love and respect both ways, you know. And funny enough, I ended up winning my show. She ended up winning first in her class, second overall.
Nice.
So she missed her pro card by one spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is both of your guys' first show.
She had done a show before.
Oh, okay.
She had done a show before.
So this wasn't actually a new experience. So she almost knew what she was going into. And she's like, I want to rope you into this too.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Fast forward to 2024, we met again at the Scorcher. But at this point, we really hadn't stayed in touch. She happened to compete, I happened to compete. And because men's and women's are obviously separated, I wasn't even there for the women's. But it is my understanding that she won bikini as well. Right.
Oh, okay.
So I competed in the pros. She competed in the amateur. Right. My placement was not great on my first pro show, but she got her pro card too, which I think is pretty cool. Good
so the Scorcher in 24, is that your second show then at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. So your first show you did in 2023.
Correct.
And before that, you had been training for years and years. Never even really considered competing.
Never.
Always like, this is not really for me. Now, when you were in the gym, were you playing sports around the same time? We kind of talked about it a little bit when we were training, but did you grow up an athlete at all? Did you kind of always have like this idea of like, I want to do something competitive? Or?
Not at all.
Really?
I sucked at every sport.
That's
I grew
funny.
up chubby. I wasn't good at anything. And I dabbled with a couple of different things, right? Like my parents had me in like this version of Little League baseball in Mexico. Baseball's huge over there.
Yeah.
I wasn't great.
And no desire to really be like great either.
Baseball was fine. I wasn't crazy about it, but it was something to do. So it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I did a little bit of soccer. Same thing. It was fine. Didn't love it. Tried basketball. Sucked at it, which sucks because it's one of my favorite sports to watch. I just can't play worth a lick.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even step into a gym and be like, hey, can I play some? I can't play.
I can't
dribble. I can't dribble.
Myself.
I can't move with the ball. Right? Like just moving forward with the ball takes all of my energy. Let alone getting past somebody.
Oh, that's funny.
But so no, I sucked at absolutely every sport. And then finally, my senior year of high school, I saw a glimmer of hope, where kids in the schoolyard happened to be playing volleyball, right? And the sport just seemed so easy to me. I don't know if you've ever seen people that are playing volleyball and they have no concept of how to play. Ball comes to them, they kind of like uppercut it.
Yeah, they're smacking it like this. The most frustrating people to play with in the world.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, from day one, it always seemed just obvious, like push it forward.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was always just so easy to just push it forward. And that's all I tried to do. But it was like the basic movement of volleyball came so easy to me. And I enjoyed the sport so much that I was hooked on the spot. Fast forward a couple of years, I kind of left it alone after my senior year of high school. We didn't play competitively or anything like that, but I came back like when I was around 24, 25 to start playing volleyball again. And to this day, it's like my other passion right next to, you know, weightlifting. And I say weightlifting more even than just bodybuilding. Staying in shape and being fit, volleyball, and then lending, like that's it, those three. Bodybuilding is for me more of a byproduct of what it's already doing, right? It was never my idea to ever compete in the first place. I competed once, and I'll admit I got a little bit of the bug, so I'll compete again. But, and this might be counterproductive, but I don't care how great or how ungreat I am in the sport. I'm gonna continue to grow. I'm gonna continue to build. Like that's not stopping. That's just a part of me. But I'm not gonna measure my level of success on the sport based on how I placed or based on, you know, a judge's criteria or just what my genetics have in store for me. Right? I'm gonna continue to compete because I am competitive. No different than the AVP. I have no intention of going and playing with the AVP. But every tournament that I play, I'm gonna play like I am in the AVP and like everything is on the line. And it's the same thing for bodybuilding. When I'm trying to do a show, when I'm prepping for the show, I'm gonna treat it like I need to be perfect, not an almond out of place. I've had my buddy Larry. Larry won the Scorcher in 2024 and didn't compete in 2025.
That was the year after you won it, yeah?
That was the first year that I competed in it.
Okay.
The first year that I competed in it, I did horrible. He won.
Gotcha.
And we stayed good friends after, and we talked about a couple of different things. And I would ask him a few questions during my off season, and he would laugh and he'd be like, "Dude, you're stricter on your off season than I am on my prep," which I thought was hilarious.
What do you take from that as someone who's like, okay, I just went and did all of this. I did everything perfect to the T, and this guy's still beating me, and he's sloppier than I am in my off season. You know, what lesson are you taking from that?
I think as far as how I unpacked it, it was like, it was obvious. These guys across the board, like I agree with the placement. I showed up incredibly lean, which was my calling card on the first competition that I ever won, right? Which was my first one ever. I showed up extremely lean, good muscle, but not insane muscle. The lean is the definition, the presence was enough to get me the first place.
Yeah.
But I can tell that in the pros, that's just the price of admission. You
condition.
better show up on point. And then on top of that, you got to bring in all of this extra muscle. Your posing has to be on point. It just, the difference between the pros and the amateurs is astronomical. It is unbelievable, right? You can go from hero to zero real quick.
Yeah.
Right. And I realized even at that first show, when I went to a posing practice with a lot of the other competitors, I felt good about my definition, but I was like, these guys are big. These guys are big. And I remember thinking in the back of my head, I was like, I hope that when we show up, they're wearing thong, not shorts.
Please,
otherwise,
God, let him not be in my class.
Yeah,
that's what you're always praying.
In my class, right? But yeah, no, I just realized that it was going to take a lot more muscle. And then what the next prep after that really taught me was that, oh shoot, it's going to take longer than just 3-4 months of bulking.
Oh yeah.
It's going to take a lot longer than that. So after I finished my show in 2025, I was like, I'm going to take a couple years to, if I really want to, and trust me, I do, especially with the Scorcher coming up in a month and some change. It's like, I do miss it, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. There's room to grow.
Yeah, I think you're always going to have to play that balance as a competitor of, you really want to be out there, you want to be in the ring, fighting your fight all of the time, but realistically, especially as a natural, you need to be able to take that step back every so often and be like, what do I actually need to improve on? And put in the necessary time to make sure that those improvements are made. Because it's like, yeah, you could go and just do the Scorcher year after year after year, but how much are you realistically going to improve from your look?
I mean, to say 5% better each time would be generous.
Right.
It's funny because you finish a competition, you go to maintenance, then you start bulking again. For me, at my lowest, I get to about 166, 167, and I'm skin and bone at that point. And then maybe after carb loading a little bit and, putting on a little bit of exercise, I'll take the stage around 170, 172. For perspective, I'm probably about 178 right now, right? So I'm not even that far from where I take the stage.
Yeah.
But during my bulk, I hit about 200 pounds. And when you see yourself at 200 pounds, you're like, oh my gosh, when I cut, this prep, I'm gonna be
the cut's gonna be insane.
I'm gonna be massive.
How many people say that?
And then I cut, and I'm right back to 170, and I look the same, and I was like, well, that sucked.
Yes.
I ballooned myself for nothing.
You just add on so much extra fat at that point for no real reason.
I hate it too.
Because and that is the red pill that you eventually have to take as a natural bodybuilder, that just because you push up 40, 50 pounds above your stage weight, that doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden going to peel all that off when you cut and then be 10 pounds heavier of lean muscle.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work like that. Especially once you get to those softer points, like you're really not adding on that much more tissue than you would be if you had just kept it a little bit tighter and slowly worked things up over time.
Yeah.
It's so different. You said something a little bit earlier too that I want to go back to, where you mentioned that you're not going to put too much stock and assign your value or anything like that to the placings. It's not really about necessarily how you perform on the stage and how you rank relative to what the judges say, but it's more about the incremental improvements over time.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, think about it, right? Especially with bodybuilding, both natural and outside of natural, there's only one way it can really go. It's bigger, bigger, bigger.
Bigger,
it's
leaner,
always
better.
going to be bigger. And you know what? Like, the big reason why bodybuilding was never even on my radar is because I don't care to be that big. I look at, a lot of the big time bodybuilders and nothing but respect and admiration. And I'm talking about the Arnolds, I'm talking about the Colemans, I'm talking about the Cutlers. I'm like, that's cool. I don't want that. I don't want even close to that. I don't like the look. I want to be comfortable in my body. I want to feel amazing. I want to do it all natural. That's just how I want to do it, right? So for myself, it's like I do have a bit of an idea of what me at my peak would look like, and I don't think it's that much further. It's something like maybe another 30%, right? I got another 30% of the way to go, and then I'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. And then if there's bigger guys in the OCB that are ranking higher than me, they can have it. I don't care. I don't care. But as of right now, as of this moment, there is room to grow. There is room to improve. And thus, I think there's room for the placings to continue to improve. Yeah. And if I ever get to the point where I'm like, I'm good, I don't want to go any higher, then I'll, then that's it. And I'll retire then.
I think that brings a very balanced view to the sport too, because I almost feel like competitors get this pressure of, I need to have the type of mentality that says that I need to be a world champion, right? Like, if I don't think like the world champion does, then it's not even worth it for me to compete. Versus you're taking much more of not so much the all or nothing approach, but you're the type of person that is going to continue to make progress over time, right? Because you're not so fixated on being so perfect and putting so much pressure on yourself that you need to win a world championship. You're much more realistic, where you're like, okay, I think I want to achieve like this, but I don't need to have the whole world, I don't need to be like a multi-time champion. I don't need to have my name written on the walls. It's just got to be enough to where I know that I'm better than I was yesterday. And I think that sometimes either puts a lot of people out of the sport entirely, where they just don't have any desire to continue to, they don't want to compete anymore because of how much pressure that they're putting on their own shoulders, or it just burns them out to the point where they just fall out of love with it. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're not even really enjoying it anymore because they feel this pressure so much where if I'm going to do this, I need to be a champion. And it sounds like you have a much more balanced approach, where you're like, I have other things in my life that are important to me, that it doesn't need to be, I don't need to sacrifice this all for bodybuilding, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think that ability to show up day in and day out. I'm here every day because I love it. I'm on vacation. I have a trip to Poland coming up at the end of May.
Nice.
And my girlfriend hates me for this, but in my head I'm already like, I wonder what gyms they got over there. I'm so excited to check out what kind of gyms they got over there. Then we're going to take a small road trip to Prague, and I'm like, oh, I know they got good gyms in Prague.
Because you love it. Yeah.
It's just fun for me. And that doesn't mean that I have to be in the gym every single day, but I'm like, I'll be damned if I go 2 weeks without touching. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, babe, at least 4 or 5 days, I'm going to find a gym. Right, and if there's no gyms and we're in a village, I'm gonna be the guy doing push-ups or finding a bar to do pull-ups or something like that. But I agree, it's like that consistency, I do it because I love it, right? So if anybody had to really, really be worried about me, is you can count on the fact I will be here tomorrow. I will be here next week. If I go out of town, I will be here. If I broke a leg, I would be here. If I was in a wheelchair, I would be here.
I'll be doing bicep curls.
Yeah,
I'll be doing my 180 reps.
I 100% will be doing something, right? And on top of that too, to your point, it's like, this has become more of a little bit of a side quest for me, and I'm extremely competitive. So don't, I guess don't underestimate that. But I don't make my living from bodybuilding, right? I am in real estate. I love volleyball just as much, right? Like, I have all these different areas, and all of them together kind of make up who I am, right? I will make my living elsewhere for a lot of the people that are competing, and honestly, props to them. But if this is your everything, if this is your livelihood, if this is, you know, how you make money, if you're a trainer, right? And a lot of my competitors are trainers. They train other people. It's like, yeah, it helps to have the accolades. It helps to practice what you preach at all times. I get it. That might not be me, right? But it's fun to compete against them.
I think that puts you in a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a safer position, but you think about these guys where their entire life, they just live and breathe bodybuilding, where they really have no sense of like purpose or fulfillment outside of that. And again, if they make the choice to do that and they want to achieve high levels, like that's kind of what it requires. And if they love it, then fair play. But I feel bad for the people that do sell out all entirely for bodybuilding, and then the minute that gets taken from them, like they get injured or they have to stop competing for whatever reason, and then they're kind of left with this void of like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do to fill my time after. And you know, I think even competitors that are like, okay, I don't need to go and achieve all that, even if that got pulled out, like we still might have a little bit of like, maybe not an identity crisis, but you'd be like, I gotta find something to fill my time with. But it sounds like you would have other things where you're like, I can very easily slide these things in and have just as full of a life without bodybuilding.
Absolutely, but you know what's funny is bodybuilding really is kind of like that bug that when it bites you, it does change it forever, right? So even if I quit, if I told you right now, I'm never taking the stage again, I'm still going to be at the gym, no doubt about it. And unfortunately, I can't really not track my food. I can't, you know,
it's just burned into your brain at this point.
You know, I can't look at it. I can't get a candy bar and pretend that I'm not going to look at the back. You know, like that has officially been changed. It's hard for me to eat anything outside of genuinely the basics, the turkeys, the rice, the chickens, for prolonged periods of time. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, for example, in Poland, right? Where, I'll have Polish sausage and whatever other food that they got, but at some point in the day, I'm like, okay, I do just need like... I
just want rice, man.
I do want just some chicken and rice, just because it's like, I'm always thinking about like, hey, am I still hitting my goals? Am I still doing that? Am I still moving forward?
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, even if I were to stop competing, it's like, it does change you altogether, right, in a way, and it's interesting. It's like, I don't know if I could ever go back to just being a normal member of society.
Not in terms of how you move from an exercise perspective, how you pay attention to, even things outside of like your relationship with food. I think the way that you're like, okay, I want to get a good night's sleep. And I think a lot of that, I want to take my supplements. I want to make sure that I drink enough water. A lot of that also has to do with just like, I understand from a quality of life perspective what it feels like when I am checking all of these boxes, and how much better I feel physically and how much more I can give to the people and the things that I care about. I will always just like have those things in place, even if it doesn't mean that I'm going to get on stage one day.
Well, you know what's funny is, again, so I'm not a coach, but I spend a good amount of time educating a lot of other people in the real estate and mortgage space, at least in my own small community, on tips that people could get from a bodybuilder without having to bodybuild, right? And that is like, hey, honestly, for one, just spending one day actually tracking what you eat or measuring what you eat will change your life. You won't, like, you really don't realize what you consume on a day-to-day basis and how much of it would actually be rather easy for you to cut off and be like, oh, actually, I didn't even think I was, like, I didn't even realize I was using that much oil when I was cooking. Right? And I mean, between the 3 meals that you make a day and just lackadaisically pouring a bunch of oil, it's like, that's probably a good 600 calories just in that.
Oh my goodness.
Switch to spray. I'm going to change your life. Switch to spray, or start air frying stuff. Like, I don't know. That alone could change somebody's life, right? On top of that, it's like, I love looking at the transformation that I went from before I ever did my first show, where I was kind of like on the bulkier side.
I mean, you say you grew up heavier,
to stage lean. Now I had been, I don't know, my weight has definitely kind of like fluctuated a little bit. I grew up on the much heavier side, and then by adulthood, I've either been skinny, I've been big, I've been skinny again, right? So it's been everything up and down. My body's very elastic in that way.
Okay.
Right, but going back to what were we talking about, the tracking.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. What it was is I've spent most of my time now trying to give back everything that I've learned from the bodybuilding journey to the average folk that are just trying to lose weight, because then bodybuilding really peels back all of the layers, and it makes you just realize, like, hey, if you just genuinely, if you actually just eat less and work out more, you can strip all the body fat off, right? And you really start to see every fab diet, every crazy pill, or every crazy procedure that people take to lose weight. It's like, I guarantee you, the right diet, and there's nothing fancy about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
There's nothing fancy.
It's very simple, actually.
It's incredibly simple. Incredibly simple. And I say this all the time, but it's like, you know, true power lifters, Olympic lifters, you know, strongmen are stronger than bodybuilders, right? Where we really shine is, or CrossFitters are arguably fitter, in better shape, can do probably so much more with their body. Where bodybuilders kind of like really stand out, we can diet like no other.
Yeah.
We can diet like no other. And what's rather difficult about bodybuilding itself too is, by the time you take the stage, the hard work was kind of already done. No other sport, like whether it's football or basketball, they can just show up as long as you perform on the court. I don't care what you do outside of the court. Show up to practice and don't suck, and then fantastic, you're good. Dennis Rodman can be in Vegas, right, the night before,
Great
no
example.
sleep, fly out, kick ass on the court. Nobody will give him shit. They're like, okay, you do you. You whatever you need to do to get in the zone, you do you.
As long as you show up on the day. And bodybuilding is so different than that. It's really different than any other sport.
Every single day, you can't miss.
No off
For
days.
months at a time, you cannot miss. And you pay for it in energy. You pay for it in just basic life enjoyment. If I was in prep, I wouldn't be going to Poland.
Yeah.
For what? To be miserable there? Yeah. To starve there? To have Polish chicken and rice? For what? It's like it takes the joy out of so much, right? So it's like, I would be politely turning that down. I'd rather be here, where I have my fridge, where I have my gym, where I have my routine, my grocery store. It makes it easy. And I've traveled on prep. It sucks. I have to stay at an Airbnb because I need a kitchen, right? I went to Vegas for a prep, and I stayed at one of their hotels. They don't have a kitchen. They don't have a fridge. So I couldn't bring like my food.
Now, which show is this for? Is this like a few years ago?
This was for the Scorcher 2024.
Okay. All right.
And
you're getting ready for your pro debut here, right?
Yeah. I was getting ready for my pro debut, and what I was doing was
I'm not playing around.
I had a bunch of cans from Costco of the canned chicken breast.
Oh, yum.
I had packets of rice, like this peel and microwave rice.
The microwave, yeah.
Oh, the microwave I brought in my suitcase. I brought a microwave in my suitcase because my hotel room didn't have a microwave. I put it on an ironing board.
How big of a suitcase, or was it a really small microwave?
No, it was a small microwave, huge suitcase, right? So I brought a microwave, put it on an ironing board in my hotel room, had the canned chicken breast, had the rice that I could heat up in the microwave, and then I took the ice bucket that they have for champagne, filled it up, and that's where I put the mayo. I don't know if mayo even has to be refrigerated. I actually probably didn't even have to do that, but I was this weird guy that was carrying a bucket of ice through Vegas hotels to put his mayonnaise on, and that's what I ate like every single day. It was like rice and canned chicken breast. It sucked. It was miserable.
So you got to be thinking, okay, anybody who has excuses about why they can't check the boxes and follow the plan, let me show you what I did in 2024.
And it was miserable. And you know what's funny is the smell, because this is not a big hotel room. The smell when you open canned chicken breast.
Are you staying there by yourself in the room?
My girlfriend was staying with me.
Oh, no.
She made me eat it in the bathroom because she's like, I don't want it to stink up the room. I'm lucky that she even let me eat it in the room at all, not outside in the fucking hall. Pardon my language. And yeah, it is extremely unappetizing to eat canned chicken breast in the bathroom while you're like staring at the toilet. It's like it does smell bad. Everything about it was just a bad experience.
Do you just have a sober-minded thought in that moment of, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I putting myself through this?
It crossed my mind a few times. I was like, dang, this is me now.
Yeah.
This is eating canned chicken breast in a bathroom.
I don't think you're a real competitor unless every once in a while you do have those moments in prep where you look in the mirror and you go, what am I doing?
So a well-known thing, right, especially when you're really close to competition, is all roads lead to food, right? Every conversation you're having always ends with some form of
you're always talking about it. Yeah.
I had family come to visit me before my first show.
And how many weeks out are you at this point?
Probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay,
I'm starving.
So you're coming right down the wire. Yeah.
And my sister and her husband come to visit, and I want to take them on a little bit of a road trip, right? I want to show them Sedona. We're going to go to Jerome, right? So before we take off, I'm like, hey, surely you guys want to get a little something to eat before we take off? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So we go, we stop at a restaurant. They get food. I get nothing. I get water.
Yeah.
Maybe a coffee, right? All right, we hit the road. So we're driving, and we finally get to Sedona. It's been, maybe, it's not super far, right? So maybe 2 hours have gone by, and I'm like, all right, guys, so surely you're hungry by now. We can stop at this amazing restaurant right over here. And they're like, Ryan, we just ate.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're right. My bad.
Yep.
So we keep driving for a little bit, different side, and it's like, oh, hey guys, this place has a really good dessert. You guys ready for some dessert, right? And they're like, Ryan, we just ate.
We are normal people.
And
breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me, man.
Yeah, I kept pushing food on them so hard. It was like every 30, 40 minutes, it was like, hey guys, there's like, this place has the most amazing like bars or whatever. Like, hey, want to go get a drink? Want to get some food? If they get food, I would always try to push dessert on them. I was like,
that's so
hey guys,
funny.
you want to look at the dessert menu, right?
You're like, I'm not going to partake, but at least you can have some fun.
Please get the dessert, right? There was so much, I was trying to live vicariously through them, and it was just hilarious. It made sense in my head at that time. I didn't realize what I was doing until looking back after.
The amount of like weird food behaviors that I've heard from competitors is astounding. Are you one of the people that you will try to get, like, it sounds like you try to get other people to eat, and then just watching them eat good food, you somehow get enjoyment from that?
Oh yeah.
I've never related to this, but I have heard other people tell me about that.
You know what's always weird, maybe you can relate to this, but people will, like, we'll go to a restaurant, or we'll go to an outing, right? I can't eat, but maybe I have my Diet Coke, or maybe I have my water, and people are eating, and they're like, I'm so sorry. Like, don't be sorry. Like, I chose this. Like, I chose to be here, and I chose all of this.
Yep.
Right. So it's like every time we would go or go see friends, anytime, whether they were having a drink or they were having a snack, it would always be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm not.
It's okay.
I don't care.
And part of that is just reframing that for people who maybe don't experience the sport very much, like they're just not exposed to it.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, this is something that I am intentionally choosing to do. So you don't have to say like, and they just kind of instinctively want to say, oh, I'm sorry, or I feel so bad. And it's like, you don't have to.
No, I mean,
don't
feel
bad.
Can you imagine the opposite of that? For me to just be like, you're so insensitive.
Yeah.
Don't you know what I'm going through right now?
Yeah.
You're gonna eat that in front of me right now?
Like, what's the proper response to that when somebody says, I'm so sorry? You should be. So ridiculous. So when you're getting ready for the Scorcher in 24, you have your girlfriend with you, you're eating your chunk chicken in the hotel.
That's exactly what it is, the chunk chicken.
When you're eating that in the hotel, when you're going throughout that, was that the first prep that you guys were dating? Had she been exposed to the sport at all?
So that was the second.
Okay.
Wait, no, that was.
First prep.
So, okay, forgive me, because you're right. That was 2025 then. It wasn't 24.
Okay.
So same competition, just different year.
Right.
When we first met, I was 4 months into a prep. We started dating in April of 2024. So we've come up on our 2-year anniversary, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Our official day is going to be in May, but
very cool.
We started dating in April. I had been several months into prep already. The second I won my 2023 show, I went right back into prep. And she had met me in prep. At this point, I was technically 9 months into prep because I didn't take a break.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it made it complicated because on the first date, I couldn't really eat or drink with her.
Yeah.
Right? So we had
to.
We went on a hike, right? So we went on a hike, and then we went to go watch a movie. We had to pick all of these things that didn't really revolve around eating, right? And I told her, I was like, hey, just so you know, at least for the next couple months, I won't be able to eat or drink with you, and I'm gonna compete again. I will be able to not eat or drink with you again. Like,
and this didn't scare her off.
It actually didn't. But I was trying to preface like all of it, like, hey, this comes with it, right? And it's not gonna be forever, and it's not like what I'm doing for the rest of my life, but it is something that I'm doing right now, and it has to be okay. It's like, absolutely. And one point, my coach gave me a weekly cheat meal. There was like a couple of weeks, for about 4 weeks, getting close to the show, that I got one cheat meal a week. I would save that one cheat meal for her, for our date night, so we could actually eat it together, so we would actually feel normal. And it was tough because we went on a few dates early on where we would go out to eat. She'd be the only one eating. I would order food just so that the server doesn't look at us like I'm crazy, and I move it around with a fork just so it looks like I ate something.
Oh my goodness, so you're still paying for the food?
Absolutely. And then I'd get it in a to-go box and I'd send it home with her. So she got to eat something there, and then she got something for later. So I would always ask her, I was like, hey, what do you want to eat now and what do you want to eat later? Right? So she would eat one meal now, and then the other one, like I said, I'd move it around so that the server doesn't look at us like we're freaking ridiculous. Right? And I'd box it up and send it with her. That's
so funny. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody using that strategy before, where you're like, you're going to get 2 meals out of this. And I'm going to get none. Because I think, especially when I'm in prep, I try to make it so that if people are going out, I try to save like one of my meals around that same time. So that I'm still like eating with them, because I don't really necessarily like watching other people eat when I'm not eating.
It's not great. It's tough.
So I'll try to do it where I will line up one of my meals, even if I'm just sat there eating chicken and vegetables. At least I'm like partaking in the activity with them. But it sounds like you would kind of prefer to just be like, are you eating the meals like around the time where you're going out to dinner with her, or?
For the cheat meal, I would just order something that's relatively sensible at the restaurant. I wouldn't typically bring my own meals. And I would just save, because I would get one a week, so I would just save it specifically for whenever we were having a date night. Right, so we would have one dinner date night, and then the rest of the week it would be the same thing. It's like, we have to plan activities, but they can't be super physical because I cannot move. I'm lethargic.
Don't ask too much of me.
Well, it was hard because hiking started getting off the table, where I was like, I can't hike that. I can barely walk to my car. Taking out the trash is a daunting task. I have to think about it for a while.
Everything is like, oh, I can't believe I have to do that.
I would joke that if I was like I don't know, if I was sitting down like at a cafe or something like that and I had my phone there, if somebody ran, grabbed my phone and took off, I wouldn't even bother trying. I'm not catching them.
You're like, they probably needed it more than I do.
It's gone. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. And it's hilarious because you look at these people and they're technically in their peak shredded vascular, especially with a pump, right? Worthless. I remember a lot of those days. You could blow them over. In the gym was the most useful I felt the rest of the most useful I felt that day, right? Pre-workout, a pump going, I feel half human for a second. And then the second I walk out of that door, it's like, all right, time to go back to useless for the rest of the day.
That's funny. So, and your girlfriend doesn't compete, she doesn't do anything like that. What does that mean to you from a relationship perspective, that she's willing to go through all of that, see you in the depleted state? That's got to be significant.
Honestly, that means everything, because she met me in prep. After I finished prep, she had me off prep for maybe a couple months, and then she had to tolerate a whole nother prep. And it was all that much harder because for a split second, she actually got to know what it was like to be with me, not on prep, where we can partake in activities, where I have energy, where I can move, where I'm like much more bubbly and alive. And all of that got stripped away again, and she saw me cut back down to nothing. That was extremely hard. I remember having some conversations with her as I was approaching peak week. She was probably fine, but my guilt was killing me. And I would call her and just be like, hey, babe, I just want to let you know I am so sorry, and I'm almost done, and we'll be able to, relax again soon. And again, she was fine. And it's not like I'm an aggressive, starving person, like I handle the diet great, but I feel bad because my energy is so low, and I'm normally a higher energy person, right? So that's another big reason why, on top of obviously growing more muscle and putting together a better package, that's another big reason why I'm just not interested in competing every single year anymore, because of how much it takes from that.
Yeah, you just show up as a completely different person to a degree. It kind of just, it changes your mind and the way that you operate, and Yeah, you don't nearly have, it's more than just like an energy, it's almost like a personality, it's like a character. All of that stuff kind of like slowly fades as you get closer to show day, and then comes back when you're not competing, and then she has to see you kind of like go through it again. So it's a tricky balance.
I can handle the prep great, but knowing that somebody else has to go through it with me, that's hard.
That's where the guilt component kicks in.
Hunger's an old friend now. Like, especially, 3 preps in, as we speak, right? Like, I have not stayed at it'd be silly for me to stay 176, 178 post-show. I actually just recently busted out one of my old diet plans just to go on a little bit of a cut, because I've been about 183 to 185 pretty much since post-competition, right? And just, that's where I'm at, probably in nature, with no, not too much manipulation of diet or stuff like that, or cardio or anything like that. But I was like, I'm gonna bust out one of my old diets, right? And I lost about 10 pounds, right? And I think one of the biggest reasons why I want to do is I'm not competing this year, right? So I wanted to almost just remind myself, like, hey, can you still handle hunger? A little bit of hunger?
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is yes. Right?
You're 6 months after prep and you're like, do I still got this? And of course you jump back into it.
That's exactly why I did it. And also on top of that, like, I enjoy being lean. The diet was always way easier for me than was the bulk. Yeah. The bulk killed me. Okay. I was miserable in the bulk. When I was pushing 200, like, I bend over to tie my shoe and I go,
it's not as fun.
It sucks. I hate the bulk. I'm miserable in the bulk. So for that reason, and also especially like truly understanding that there's no point in me being 200 pounds for, at least not for me, not for my frame. There's no point in me being over 200 pounds just to say I'm over 200 pounds and saying I'm bulking. Yeah. Dude, I can achieve, I guarantee you, the same at 185 to 190. Yeah. Trust me, I'm already not lean. Like, I'll be okay, but I'm also not to the point where I feel uncomfortable.
100%. I think you learn that the older that you get as a competitor too. You don't have this desire to like super bulk and just basically see how heavy you can get, how strong you can get by any means necessary. It's a lot more about, how do I do what's most conducive to the goal? Yeah. Even if that means not eating as much food, even if that means being a little bit leaner for a little bit longer. Now, you're 3 preps deep now, and you're going to be doing your 4th somewhere around the 27, 28 kind of time frame, right? This was your first prep working with Cliff, right?
Yes.
And for anybody who doesn't know Cliff is a legend in the natural bodybuilding space. What has the experience been having that kind of mentor expertise overseeing your process?
I think one big thing that I really appreciate about him going into it was that I know how experienced he is working with natural athletes.
Yeah.
I have nothing but gratitude for my coach that trained me for my win, got me my pro card, and then to help me show up, looking as lean and about as good as I could for the second show as well. I think we had maybe, let's call it just some differences in the process.
Training approach.
Yeah, a little bit. And I was like, you know what? If I really could have any coach in the world, who would I pick? And that's kind of like the mindset that opened up. It's like, why don't I hit up Cliff Wilson? I'm gonna, And I tried it out, and I wasn't sure what that was gonna be like, but he was open to taking me on, and it was a great prep. He's extremely knowledgeable. He's also, even though he does not live here, my other coach was local. Yeah. Even though Cliff was not local, he makes you feel like he is. His follow-up game is on point. He's always on top of his plans. And then the beauty of it is especially when it comes time to showtime, like the last 24 hours roughly before I actually take the stage, 48 hours, we're on speed dial. Yeah. We're talking all the time. I'm sending him regular progress pictures. Like there was a level of like closeness during my final 48 hours that I didn't even have with my old coach who lived here. Yeah. Right? Who also never came to any of my shows. Right? Yeah. So it was cool to have that level of involvement. Yeah. Especially leading up to the stage.
Yeah, it's just a completely different level of service and a different level of experience. And you don't need to be local to be able to provide that to people. Yeah. You just have to be intentional. Yeah. You just have to show that you care, that you actually are paying attention to the different things. Like if you're sending across photos in peak week, I'm paying enough attention to go, okay, these are the things that we need to adjust. I see the look here. This is what we're going to try to nail. This is where your weight is. Okay. These are the things that I want you to do over the course of the next few hours. Yeah. That just shows that they're willing to put in the extra work to make sure that you actually bring your best look to stage, that you actually take all of this work that you've put in over the course of the last few months, years, and that when you actually step on the stage, those 2%, 3% differences, they can really matter. That could be the difference between winning or losing in some instances, 100%. Now, getting ready to, obviously you're not doing your next prep until a year or two from now, but if you had to go back in time, we'll do this as kind of a closer for this segment. If you could say one thing, one piece of advice to yourself before your first prep, for all the new competitors out there, one piece of advice to yourself before your first prep, what would you tell yourself?
I think the number one that comes to mind is trust the process. I'm proud of the level of discipline that I had for my first show. So to be honest, there's actually not corrections that I would make. I followed the plan to the T, and I think for anybody that is doing their first show ever, follow it to the T. If you're, with what you're about to put yourself through, if you're not actually showing up on stage your best, why are you doing the show? Don't waste your time. Follow exactly what your coach says, right? So I recommend that any new competitor follow the plan to the T, and then maybe for your second show or third show, you can call an audible. You can make it, you can understand where you have room for, wiggle room and where you don't. For your first show, you have no wiggle room. Follow exactly what they say. I remember messaging my coach being like, dude, I'm not okay. Can I have an apple? He'd be like, no, you can't. And it seems a little bit brutal, right? But honestly, if he started compromising there, where else would I start compromising? How many more times when I'm hungry am I just gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna have an apple here and an apple there? Before you know, it's like, you can't be doing that. It sucks. Embrace the suck, The reason I say my true piece of advice is trust the process is because I remember about a month and a half, 2 months before actually taking the stage, I looked good, but I did not look like a bodybuilder. I was like, I just look like a guy in decent shape. I'm taking the stage in 2 months. It just didn't feel right. And then in those final 2 months, in those final 6 weeks, when we really turned the screws on me and the body fat was just melting off, finally, by the time we got to maybe, let's call it 2 weeks out, I was peeled like I've never seen it before. And then it finally dawned on me. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I remember I had my brother come and join me for a workout. And after we finished lifting, I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you judge my posing? It's like, yeah. So we go into the private room at Lifetime. Well, not the private room, but the studio room with the mirrors and stuff. And I take off my shirt and he says, you're going to win. Right? And I was just diced. I had no fat whatsoever. I still have the video and I was grainy. It was next level lean. My size could have been better, but nobody was going to take that stage leaner than me.
And at that point, you don't even know what it's like to get to that level when you've never been there. So you at 2 months out, you're going, how in the world is this going to happen? But because you stuck with the plan and you built that foundational level of discipline where it's like, hey, I'm not going to have that apple. I'm not going to eat anything that's off the plan. You stuck with it long enough to where now when you're in your other preps, you maybe have a little bit more of that flexibility because you understand what it takes and you're comfortable with that amount of discomfort, with that level of suck. But if you're a new competitor, you don't even know what it's like to take it there. So you just need to follow through with what your coach is telling you to do, as much as it may suck, as much as you might not enjoy it, because eventually you will get over to the other side of that promised land.
And so here's an example. The exact same coach for competition 1 and competition 2. First prep, I had no cheat meals. I kept thinking, I was like, cheat meals are a thing, right? Like I've heard the term.
When am I getting this?
Somebody said cheat meals. Like, am I imagining this? Am I just that hungry? And finally, I think it was like 3 or 4 days before the show or something, or maybe a week. He's like, I'm gonna give you a cheat meal. You're gonna go to In-N-Out. You're gonna get a single hamburger, not a double. 1 hamburger, no cheese, small fries. It was the best burger I've ever had in my entire life. I could have cried. I was ceremonial about it, and it felt so foreign to me because I was eating a certain kind of way that I was like, I don't know, like on a normal day, like maybe, you get the food, you're driving home, grab a fry, pop, and maybe take a bite, get home, just throw it wherever. No, for me, I was like, I put it on a plate, I dump the fries, do a little bit of ketchup, like I'm angling the plate.
Yep. Let me get this
like,
exactly right. Hold on.
Like I almost lit ceremonial candles, right? And I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, okay.
This is gonna be the best
This is
thing
gonna,
ever.
yeah.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
Play the music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All for an In-N-Out burger that somebody
yeah.
probably eats in 2 minutes when they're on their way home from work.
That was first prep. One cheat meal, and it was hand selected. A burger with small fries, no cheese. Second prep, I got about a month where I had, and that's the one that I was telling you about, where I got about a cheat meal a week. One cheat meal a week. It was unbelievable. It was the best thing ever. It was like, and here's what's interesting is that one cheat meal, it almost did not matter what I ate because the rest of my week was in such a massive deficit that I had maybe 1 day's worth of energy, and by the following day, I was right back to...
You're back to it.
Dead.
Back to baseline.
Like it never did anything for me. I literally probably could have pounded several cheesecakes, and I had a few.
It won't make a dent.
It didn't make a dent. It didn't make a dent. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a new competitor, just trust that you're always going to be hungry.
Oh yeah.
That's part of the process.
Oh yeah.
And that's the process that you need to trust.
Yeah.
All right?
Expect the first one to be stressful, and then if 2 months out you're thinking, I want to pull the plug. There's no way I can take the stage. Wait.
Yep.
Wait. Magic happens the last 2 months.
Stick with it.
Stick with it.
Make it to the promised land.
Absolutely.
Get stage lane, and you will be proud of yourself for it.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode of More Than Muscle. Thank you again, Ryan,
Absolutely.
for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.